Hi, and welcome to the Virgin River Cafe Rewatch podcast. Hi, Gigi.
Hi Tracy, how's it going?
It's going all
Good,
right.
good.
How are you
Nicely
doing
done.
today in this lovely afternoon?
It's I love when it's this time of the year where it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's really nice outside.
Nice.
It's like the perfect California weather. It's just like, could the rest of the summer be this way?
We can only hope.
No, it's
We
not.
we'll
But
get pieces of it. We'll get
yeah,
snippets of it.
yes, I'm gonna live in the moment.
That's all we
It's
can
a
do.
it's a nice bombing 70 to 80 something degrees. It's like, yes.
Good. So, what are you drinking today?
So today it's actually not coffee. It's more along the lines of tea. It's a ginger lemon drink. And it's at that big warehouse place we all know.
Yeah,
And it's cold. I know, it's
that's
surprisingly.
okay. It's when it's hot.
I
It's like
said
90 some degrees outside right now, and yeah.
I went with ginger because my stomach's been feeling a little so ginger always calms my stomach. Also, it's great for my complexion, which
Oh, nice.
is pretty good.
All right.
So I went with that today. So it's a ginger lemon tea drink.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay. Nice and soothing.
uh, yeah, very nice and soothing, very cooling. Keeps my inner body cool
Nice.
because it can flare up at times, as you're fully aware of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so anyway.
Well, I'm kind of went just simple. And I try, sometimes I try to make this stuff at home, and no matter how hard you try, it just doesn't taste the same. And so you got to go
Yeah.
out and buy
Okay.
it.
Also, I wanted to say to people, please don't think we buy this stuff
Oh, God,
every
no.
time. No.
No. I
A
make
lot
so
of the
much coffee at home. It's
I know
ridiculous.
exactly. We have learned to make our own stuff at home and brew our own coffee. And as I said with the ginger stuff,
In
I,
many ways, I
right,
do pour over, I do cold brew, I make my own.
right,
I use my Keurig machine. I have
right.
instant. There's a lot of options.
There are a lot of options, and like if we go to that big warehouse store, we buy in bulk, like this ginger thing from
Yeah.
the refrigerator is it's like it comes like in a 6 pack, and it's like six something
Oh, that's good.
for the six.
Yeah.
So so please note, there is no overabundance of money being spent here. It's
No,
just
God, no. Who has that kind of money? I mean, why do you think when I go to a certain place, I do my hack because I don't want to pay $7 for a coffee I used to pay three
exactly.
forty five for? So
And I add, you're the caramel, I'm the chocolate. And
yeah,
there's no way I'm spending all that money on chocolate when I
Mm.
have my own chocolate
Buy
in my
it
refrigerator.
and bring it home and come home and instead of them
Yeah,
charging you $1 to put a dollop on it, come home and put it on yourself and do an extra dollop.
exactly. So it's just like, no,
Yeah,
sorry, folks. So
yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear. I didn't want anybody thinking, oh,
We're like
they're
buying
big.
coffee every day. No,
No,
I wish.
it's not
No,
happening.
no,
Yeah, I
no.
don't have that budget in my
Yeah,
life.
I
Thank
don't
you
have
very
that
much.
budget either. No, so today I did actually buy this one, but only because I had a gift card and I'm milking the gift card
No,
as
that's
long as possible. So I'm enjoying it.
oh,
When I get a gift card,
you
I'm like, I'm
you
going out.
from
People know I
people,
love coffee, and
right?
so
And so
I
they
get gifted gifted
exactly.
gift cards. So
She's gifted that.
and I make
So
those things last. Let
yeah.
me tell you. I've been milking this one for probably 2 months because I don't go
So
that often. So I stretch it out as long as possible. So
that's that's the way to do it.
today I got an iced brown sugar latte.
Nice.
So yeah, I got a little cold foam on there, and
Good,
so
good,
yummy, so
good.
yummy. So I'm enjoying that today. So
Well, I'm happy
I'm
for you, my
caffeine. I had a little bit of a headache this morning. I think I waited too long to have my coffee because that's what happens
yeah,
when you if you're not
yeah,
properly caffeinated, you may get a headache. And
yes,
I did not get coffee early enough today. So yeah,
yeah.
I was fighting a little bit. So I just took the edge off of it. I started drinking my coffee. I'm hoping that it'll, calm down and it'll be all good. So,
It's all right.
all
It's
right.
all good. You like to say it's all
Yep,
good.
it's all good. So let's get started.
So we're in season 5, episode 10, Labor Day. Fun
Mm,
episode.
yeah. Tensions escalate as Brady, Jack, and Mike get caught in the crosshairs of an illicit scheme. More surprises emerge for Mel, Denny, and Preacher. Now, this is a fun episode. This was technically the 10 out of 10 episodes, like 10th out of 10 episodes for season 5. And then they had 2 bonus episodes that came out because these dropped in like September. September 7th, by the way. And did you know that there are 3 cast members that all have the same birthdays on September 7th?
I did not know this.
Yes.
I did not know this.
So, Preacher, Brady, and Mike. All 3 of them have their birthdays on September 7th. And so they were all on the show, and when it dropped, everybody got to say happy birthday to them and season 5.
Wow.
So, little tidbit.
And how apropos is that Preacher and Mike, not Preacher,
I know.
Brady and Mike,
I know. It's kind of funny.
Oh.
So the 3 of them share a birthday, which is super fun. So this was the 10th episode, and then there was a break, and then in December it was 2 Christmas episodes that they dropped, and it was like sometime I can't remember exactly when. I'll let you know when we do the next episode, the exact date. But there were 2 episodes that were for Christmas, so it was like a little Christmas present. So that was fun. So there were 12 episodes for this season. And then for season 6, they went back to 10 episodes and all of that. Yeah.
Bummer.
Bummer. I know. I think they're probably going to do 10. I haven't heard, but I'm assuming because they've been very tight-lipped about behind the scenes with season 7. I thought it was bad for season 6, but I think season 7 is about the same. It's pretty, some of the cast go on Instagram and they're talking about this and that, but minimal stuff about the show, minimal about what's going on. And because Zibby and Alex aren't doing their podcast, we don't even have that. So there's like not a lot of information. And they just wrapped, so they're done filming, and now it'll be 6 months-ish. 4 to 6 months for them. Sometimes it takes longer. We're not sure. We haven't heard when the season 7 will drop. So, it's just tight-lipped. And they said once the show comes out, then they start letting go of all the stuff that they've been filming and talking about, and all the BTS will come out later. But it's like, while it's happening, they used to just release stuff constantly. And then once Netflix cracked down, they couldn't anymore. So it was kind of a very quiet season of filming, this past one, just like season 6. And season 6, I understand. It was the wedding. There was so much going on. I get it. But I thought maybe they would lighten up a little bit. But no. So, anywho, that's where we're at. So, we're just going to have to wait and see. But here we are with season 5, episode 10, which is a really fun, the Labor Day picnic that everyone has been preparing for, is finally happening. Now, remember when we left our friends in Virgin River, Brady was sneaking around in one of the campers in one of the Airstreams, and Jack came by to drop something off and saw lights and walked in and caught Brady. And if you looked, Brady had like bags of drugs. Because I think Brady was like, okay, what did they put in this Airstream? Like, he knew they were up to something, and he caught them doing something, but he didn't know what. So he went back to go check it out, and he figured out what they were doing, and then he gets caught by Jack. Now, Brady's trying to do the right thing. God love this man. He cannot get out of his own way. He tries so hard to do the right thing, and he just keeps getting his hand slapped.
What is the saying you have about bad luck or good luck?
Oh, yeah. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's Brady. That's our boy.
It's so sad. So he gets caught, and first thing he says to Jack, "This is not what it looks like, Jack. I'm standing here with bags of drugs, but it's not what you think it is." Really? Really? Come on. And Jack is pissed. And he's like, really? Because it looks like you're selling drugs out of my trailer. That's what it looks like. And the look on his face. He's like, no, please let me explain. And he's like, I don't want to hear it. Save it for the police. And he's like, listen to me, Jack. Jack, like, It's like he wants to tell him that he's working with Mike, but if he does, then it messes everything up. And he was like, wait. And he's like, please don't call the police. Like, he's like, you cannot call the cops. He goes, really? Watch me. And then a car is coming. And now I don't know where Jack parked. I'm hoping that he didn't like pull right up to the thing, because that would be that would not be good. Because if who's showing up is who we think is showing up, having Jack there, not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Brady looks out the window and he's like, crap. And he's like, okay, you have to trust me. I'm on your side. And he goes, how the hell do you expect me to believe a single thing? He goes, I am not the bad guy here, okay? Like, he's trying to tell him. He goes, Melissa is. And Jack's like, what? Like, okay, huh? And the car pulls up right to the Airstream, and Melissa's there, and he goes, Mike and I are working together to take her down. And he goes, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't believe anything you say. And he goes, look, I swear to God, I'll tell you everything. But if you don't let me go outside and talk to Melissa right now, we are both dead. So Melissa gets out of the car, and the other guy gets out of the car, and Brady looks at him, and he was like, he just leaves. And he leaves Jack standing there, kind of dumbfounded.
Frozen.
Yeah, he's totally frozen. So Brady goes outside to talk to Melissa. And Jack is like, okay. So he's going to quietly peek out. And he goes, hey, what are you doing here? It's so late. And he goes, I was setting up. And he goes, cut the crap, Brady. And she puts a gun to him. And the other guy puts a thing over Brady's head. And they grab him. And they're going to take him away. And Brady's like, no. And Jack is watching all of this. They grab him. They throw him in the back of the car. And they drive away. And Jack's watching this. So what he does, of course, who's he going to call?
Mike.
So he calls Mike, and he's like, they've got Brady. And he's like, who's got Brady? Because remember, he's not supposed to know. And he goes, my business partner, Melissa Montgomery. Brady said he's working with you. What the hell's going on? He goes, okay, listen, Melissa and her people are very dangerous. He goes, are you following them? He goes, yeah. They're headed southwest on Walker Road towards Greenville. He goes, okay, I'm on my way. Stay with the SUV, but do not engage. So we just keep eyes on him. Wait till I get there. We will figure it out. Because these are dangerous, very dangerous people. I don't think anybody realizes how dangerous Melissa is. I mean, I guarantee her brother does not know. Do you think Nick has any clue?
Nick is as clueless as my shoe.
Exactly. Yeah,
Nick, he just is happy to get the money. As you remember when his wife said that they're just happy to get a check. That's all he cares about.
And remember what Joellen said? She's like, yeah, I don't trust her. Joellen was right. Yeah. Joellen had a good sense that something's up with Melissa.
Yeah. They live the so-called American dream. They've got a business. It comes in handy. They don't have any children. Yep. They have their friends and their neighbors. And they
then Melissa sends them a check every month. And
exactly.
They don't know where it comes from. They're just happy to take it.
Exactly. And other than that, he has no clue that he is living with. And the thing about people who do drugs, you know this by any common sense. They're nice people. Okay,
they can be the nicest people in the world. Doesn't mean they're not doing shady stuff behind closed doors. Ugh.
Well, it's a dangerous business, and and if you're in a dangerous business, nothing about it is nice.
No.
So, that Brady be maybe messing with their supply chain? Oh hell no, honey.
Yeah, she's pissed because she's kind of gone out on a limb with him a few times. He's messed up in her eyes a few times. And she keeps bringing him in because she feels like, oh, he's close to Jack. We can use that. Oh, he's close to the people in town. We don't really have Virgin River under our wing yet. We need to use that. So they're just using him when he's not useful anymore.
Oh,
you know, they'll let him go. They'll figure a way to get rid of him when they don't need him anymore. And I think they're feeling like they're getting very close to that.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So Jack's in the car following, and Mike says to Jack, you understand me, right? Follow him. And he goes, all right. He goes, I'm going to bring the cavalry. So he's going to call in the feds and whoever he needs to call because, he's been doing this sort of on the sly with Brady until the right moment.
You're right.
But it seems like they're finally getting to that right moment. So they
Yeah.
go to this like warehouse area, and Jack
Oh,
follows them with no lights on, and he's sort of
okay.
like,
I was not gonna say. Please tell me Jack doesn't have any lights on
no, no,
because
no.
it's
He was driving. He knows these roads. So
okay. Good.
he was able to follow quietly in the dark behind them, and then he pulled in nearby, and then he got out of the car. Now he's like trying to get closer so he can
Okay.
see. He wants to see what's going on. So they go into this warehouse. They got Brady. He's got zip tied wrists. They uncover him. They kneel him down, and Melissa's henchman guy is right there, and everybody's got guns. There's two guys plus Melissa. And one of the guys punches him, and he's like, "Start talking, pretty boy." Gene, that's the henchman, like the main guy. And Jack kind of hears what's going on, and so now he knows where they are. So he goes closer, and he's just trying to like peek in. He doesn't want to be seen. Remember, he's just surveilling. And the guy's saying to him, "Come on, what do don't you have anything to say? The rat got your tongue?" Because they assume that he probably ratted on them. And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He goes, "I think you know more than you're letting on." And he's like, trying to like play it off. Melissa looks at him, and they have a video of him sneaking into the warehouse. And they're showing
Ah,
him because they must have had surveillance. He didn't know that they were
Valence. Yeah.
watching him.
Yep.
And he's like, shit. Like he knows he's caught. I mean, he could play it off like, "I just want to be a part of it. You're not letting me be a part of it." He could have said something. Now, Melissa, she's like, Daniel. She always calls him Daniel. There's a famous, and she's always so smug when she
Oh
talks.
yeah.
Oh, I can't stand
Yes.
this woman. There's a famous quote I come back to time and time again in this line of work. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Okay, how dare she? How dare she use Maya Angelou
I
saying?
was not about to say that. I'm
That's
like,
just rude.
you, that you just crossed the line there,
That's
girlfriend.
not cool.
You
That's
do
not
not
cool.
take our famous poet and
Yeah.
use it
Ugh. In
in a
your dirty
drug
work.
situation. Exactly.
She's like, "I'll spare you the suspense." And as Jack's sneaking in, she goes, "Your life ends tonight. But if you tell us what your cop friends know about the operation, I'll make it quick." And he just kind of smirks and he spits. And she just looks at him, and the guy goes and punches him, and he goes down. They pick him back up again, and he goes, "You continue to disappoint me," she says, and they punch him again. She's like, "It didn't have to be like this, Daniel. Now tell me who you're working with." He goes, "I ain't telling you shit. You're wasting your time." And is Jack still watching on? Just like, "Please, Mike, get here soon. This isn't going to be good." And he's like, he's bleeding from his head. And he goes, "You're right. You are wasting my time. Make sure it hurts." And they get him up. Now, Jack picks up something and he throws it. And people hear it. And they're like, "What is that?" And they're like, Gina's like, "I'll go check it out." Now they're nervous because they think someone's there or something's going on. So Jean is sort of creeping around. Melissa goes outside. She's heading back to her car. The other guys have Brady. And as he's creeping around, Melissa gets in her car. She starts the car and starts to drive away because you know her. There is no way that she is going to get caught.
It's gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's going to get out of there and let everybody else take the fall because she's no way. She's not putting up with this. So the guy grabs Brady and he's walking him out. Probably as soon as Gene comes back, the two of them will go kill him. Just as Gene goes around the corner, Jack grabs him, jumps at him. And at the same time that sort of Brady and this other guy who's got Brady hear him, Brady gives him a headbutt. And then they're fighting. Now Brady's only got his legs to deal with because his hands are, he's got them zip tied in front of him. So it's not a lot he can do. So Gene and Jack are fighting. And just as Melissa is trying to get herself out of there, the cavalry shows up. Perfect timing. And they cut her off. The cop cars pull right in. She can't go any further. We got 2 cop cars and probably Mike's car. At the same time, Jack's fighting with one guy as Brady's fighting with the other, and they happen to be now in the same warehouse. All the cops draw their guns. They get Melissa out of the car. They're like, "Melissa Montgomery, you're under arrest. Step out of the vehicle." She gets out, hands up. Thank God they've got her. He goes, you have the right to remain silent, anything. And then they go back to Jack fighting and Brady fighting these two guys. Fortunately, I think they've both dropped their guns. Now, Brady bolts out of the warehouse through the door. And, I mean, he can't get too far because the guy's right on his tail. Grabs him, throws him up against the wall, punches him in the stomach, punches him in the face. At the same time, Jack's fighting the other guy, Gene, and slams his head on the ground because he's going to go help Brady. Runs out, grabs a pipe on his way, and winds up hitting the guy who's with Brady. But then he gets elbowed. They kick him. He hits him. Everybody's been punching. And all of a sudden, we see Mike come around the corner. Now, they got that guy down, so Brady and Mike are okay. And Mike lets go of Brady's zip ties. So fortunately, he's free now. And Mike is like, are you guys okay? And he's like, oh, never been better. Brady's like, thanks. And he goes, what about Melissa? He's like, we got her. It's over. And they all kind of take a deep breath. And just as they take a deep breath, Gene comes out. Remember how Jack slammed his head, knocked him out? Well, he must have woken up. And he comes running out. He's got his gun. And he aims it at Brady and Mike. And Mike pushes Brady out of the way and holds up his gun to fire. And Gene fires also. And they both get shot. So Jack is like, are you hit? Are you hit? And the tires screeching. He's, officer down, call an ambulance. We don't care about Gene. He's laying there too. And who cares? It's like, it's okay. He's going to be all right. And they both, Jack and Brady, look at each other. He's like, Jack, you're going to be okay. Officer down. Officer down. We got to call an ambulance. So now we look at scenery. Because that was a lot. That was a lot.
I know. I think when you're having a raid, you should always have an ambulance on standby, just in case.
Right?
I mean, you never know.
I know. But they don't, I mean, they didn't know what they were getting into. That's the thing. They didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, all they knew was Brady was kidnapped. So it could have been anything. So here we are. It's the next morning. And Preacher's in bed. And I'm guessing he is not alone. He is not alone.
No, he is not.
Kaya's putting her boots on. Birds are chirping in the background. And Preacher's like, hey, are you sneaking out of here? And she's like, no. Like she's trying to come up with an excuse. She's like, I hate goodbyes. They depress the hell out of me. She starts laughing. She goes, it's just easier to skip that part and end on a fun memory, you know? And he's like, yeah, I know what you mean. He goes, well, let's make a pact. Every time I ship out, let's not make a big deal about it. He's like, okay, it'll make it normal. Like you're going to work for the day instead of a month or longer. She's like, exactly. He's like, okay. So what do you say then? Instead of goodbye? She's like, I'll see you when I see you. He's like, okay, I'll see you when I see you. So she leans over, gives him a kiss, and off she goes. And his phone vibrates, so of course he's got to answer it. He's like, hey, Mel. And he goes, what? Now we're all at the hospital. Bree's there. Preacher's there. Jack just got there. Mel's there.
Everybody's there.
Yeah. And Mel sees Jack, and she's like, oh, my gosh. He goes, no, I'm okay. How's Mike? And she's like, oh, he lost a lot of blood. She's like, okay. And she's like, the next 24 hours are going to be critical. And Jack's like, oh, God, I just hope he wakes up. So Preacher says, hey, you know, Mike, he's tough as nails. He's going to pull through. Because remember, he's a Marine. So we know he's tough. And Bree's like, where's Brady? Jack's like, he's still being questioned by the FBI. Because, you know, they got a lot of questions for him. And Jack's like, I tried to vouch for him. But without Mike to corroborate, it's just our word against a mountain of evidence. And you know, Brady, it looks bad, right?
Well, but Brady already has a rap sheet as long as my arm.
Yeah, I know.
So they're not taking anything he says as given law.
And it doesn't even matter if he's doing the right thing because there's no proof right now.
Right, there's no proof. Yeah.
Until he wakes up, we don't know.
Yep.
So Jack's like, I can't believe I let this happen. She set up shop right under my nose. And he's pissed. And Mel's like, Jack, you didn't let anything happen. He goes, well, her own brother didn't even know. He goes, what could I do? I mean, he goes, this is my mess to clean up. but thanks. So Preacher's got to leave because he's like, I got to go set up the beer garden for the carnival because that's still happening. I mean, life has to
Yeah.
go on, unfortunately. And Jack's like, oh, yeah. He goes, I got your back if you want to stay. And so Jack's going to stay. And Mel's like, I'm going to call Doc and make sure everything's okay over there and can stay here with you. And he's like, Jack's like, no, 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 no. Please don't do that. Go to the clinic. I mean, there's nothing she can do there. Everybody's just waiting around for Mike, for
Right.
him to wake up and be okay. And she's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. Bree's like, I'm going to stick around too. So it's fine. So Jack and Bree have each other. And she's like, okay, well, if you need me, call me. He's like, I know. It's okay. Give a kiss goodbye. He's like, thanks. And off she goes back to the clinic. And Jack gives Bree a big hug, and they're just going to wait. So now we have the Virgin River Labor Day Carnival. And we've got all the rides and the Ferris wheel and all kinds of stuff happening. And everybody's helping set up. And Lizzie's in charge because she's got the clipboard. And I'm sure that between her and Hope, everything will get taken care of. And so Denny runs up and he's like, Lizzie, hot dog stand is set up. And she's looking at her list. She goes, what's next, boss? He goes, can you check with the mini donut station? We don't have enough. Well, it'll be mutiny. And Denny's like, no problem. And he goes, so, do you have a second to talk? And she's like, he's like, are you okay? Is this just carnival stress? Or she's like, yeah, kinda. She goes, sorry, I just have a million things on my mind right now. And he's trying to like be understanding, but she's like, maybe we can find some time to talk tonight once this is all up and running. And he's like, yeah, sure thing. She goes, good, because there's something I want to talk to you about. She gives him a kiss and off she goes, like leaving him standing there. So we're back at the clinic and Doc's talking to Mel. He's like, Mel, we heard about Mike and everybody's pulling for him. Cameron's right there. He goes, yeah, and how's Jack? She takes a deep breath. She goes, you know, he's shaken up, but he's holding it together. You know how he is. And he goes, yeah, I know. Still at the hospital with Bree. He goes, if you need to be with them, you can go. She goes, no, no, no. He said he was going to call me if he needed anything. Besides, he didn't want me to miss our first official staff meeting. So she's like, oh, well, very well then. Let's get to it. They all sit down together. He goes, and Mel's like, and why exactly are we having a staff meeting? And Doc starts laughing as Muriel walks in with cupcakes. He goes, well, first of all, it's to welcome you back. And Mel's like, aw. And everybody starts laughing. So she puts the cupcakes on the desk. So it's Doc sitting at his desk and Muriel, Mel, and Cameron all sitting on the other side. Now that we are, in fact, a full staff, I thought it would be a nice way to keep us all on the same page. So Doc's like, all right, first item on the agenda is giving Muriel an official title. I suggest office manager. All in favor say aye, aye. So everyone says aye. Fabulous. And I only have one request. And they all look at her like, what? She goes, a desk. She goes, and one that does not need to be propped up with a legal pad. And I mean, Mel asked for a desk and she still hasn't gotten one. So whatever. And Doc's like, oh, that shouldn't be a problem. Second item. So Doc's like, our patient load is growing by the day. And, well, as I begin to scale back some, I think we should be discussing the best way we can move forward to serve our community. Well, and then Cameron raises his hand. He goes, well, given that most of our patients live in rural areas, I think implementing a telehealth component would be really beneficial to broaden their access. And Mel's like, yeah, Cameron makes a good point. We could cover more patients in a day. And Doc's like, She's like, and not to mention, we've seen the benefits already delivering the Nickerson baby. He's like, yeah. He goes, also, expanding on that, most of the women in town still have to drive an hour to see an OBGYN. So I was thinking that we could start a birthing center. We create, a home-like environment for expectant mothers. We'd offer preconception counseling, lactation consulting, postpartum care. Whatever the community needs, we could provide it right here. And Doc's thinking and thinking. And she's like, guessing by your silence you're not into those ideas. Kind of looking a little disappointed. And he's like, no, 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 far from it. He's like, I think the future of our clinic is looking brighter than ever.
Could you imagine this?
No.
In the beginning with this man? Because he was like a stick in the mud.
Yes, he was. He has come so far. Oh my gosh, he is like a different person. He's so soft
Yep.
and squishy now.
It's the invasion of the body
Oh
snatchers,
my
Doc.
gosh, he is not all grumpy. I mean, if he was like he was, him and Hope would never be together
Mm,
again. And I mean,
yeah.
he's just a different person now. I mean,
Well, she had to kill him because he tried
yeah,
to get rid of her nurse
yeah,
that she
exactly.
hired.
Yep, yep. He goes, and item number 3 on the agenda, and he holds up the cupcakes, and it says "Welcome back." The cupcakes are so cute. So we're back at the hospital, and Brady's walking through, and he peeks into Mike's room, and he sees Bree sitting by Mike's bedside with her hand on his hand. And
Mm,
he's looking at her like, and then she looks at him and he backs up. And she jumps up and she runs out to the door. And she's like, Brady, wait. Because he knows that they're sort of maybe not together, but they're seeing each other. They're friendly. I don't know that he knows that they've kissed, but, you
nah, he
know,
doesn't know.
he sees that there's an attraction, and of course he's jealous because he knows he screwed up, and he figures if I can hurry up and fix this problem, maybe I can get her back. I don't know.
Mm.
So she's like, Brady, are you okay? He's like, it's nothing, because she's looking at the stitches in his head. And so they're just standing there. He's like, how is he doing? And she's like, he's fighting. He goes, that guy saved my life. And then he takes a deep breath. He goes, I should have. And she's like, it's okay. Come here. And she gives him like a real big embrace, like not just a hug, like she holds him. And she's like, I'm glad he did. And you know what? He hugs her back. And she's like, I'm sure he's going to wake up. Okay. And then she kind of backs up a little bit. She's like, I really wish you would have told me you were a CI. He goes, I know. I was just trying to get you out, get us out. He's like, but none of that changes the fact that we're all here because of me. And I get it. And he looks at her and he's so sad. He goes, if you and I are too far gone, are we? And she looks at him and she kind of shakes her head with tears in her eyes. She goes, it's not that I don't appreciate what you've done. You know, Melissa's in jail because of you. You put yourself at risk for me. But yeah, because of the trial and just all of this, she's like, Brady, I will love you forever. Oh, if that's not a,
Right,
I'm just not
yes.
into you anymore.
Exactly.
God.
Exactly. Or we can just be friends.
Yeah. Oh. And he knows it's coming. He knows it's coming. She's like, but I
Yeah.
need you to know that things have changed for me. And he's like, yeah, I get it. And he's like, yeah. And he just kind of backs up and he walks away. She takes a deep breath and she's in tears. Like, oh, just broke his little heart.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. So we're back at the clinic, and Ava is there visiting, and she's in the refrigerator finding a cupcake. And she's opening it up, and she's like, Hi, Mel. She goes, Sorry, I was looking for creamer and I couldn't resist. She goes, Oh, those are delicious. Have as many as you want. And Mel's pouring herself a cup of coffee. And Ava's like, can I ask you for some medical advice? And Mel's like, Yeah, of course. She's like, perks of staying above the clinic. She says, I made that follow up appointment with Dr. Kane about the hysterectomy. So she's really considering it. And Mel's like, Yeah. She goes, and I was wondering if we could make a list of questions to ask in case I, like, I don't know, disassociate from my body. And Mel's like, Absolutely. She's like, so you're gonna want to ask him about hormone replacement therapy and what that entails, recovery time after surgery, his plan for pain management. She goes, whether I'll regret it not having children. Ava's throwing that in there on the list. And Mel's like, yeah. Mel takes a deep breath. She's like, she's like, I have always thought if I didn't carry my own child, I'd be missing out on something. But the more Jack and I have been talking about it, the more I realize being a parent is so much more than how you got there. So if you decide that you want to be a mom someday, you'll find a way. And Ava looks at her and they smile. Nice friends. Nice to have friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back at the hospital. Jack shows up with coffee and Brady's like, hey. And he's like, hey. And he goes, the FBI let you go. And Brady's like, yeah, for now. But, I'm not off the hook yet. He goes, look, man. He goes, I'm sorry. Mike said if I told you, it would jeopardize the whole case. And Jack's like, no, I get it. Took a lot of courage to do what you did, man. And Brady's like, yeah, well, Mike doesn't wake up. Nothing I did even matters. which is true. He's like,
Yeah.
I just hope he's okay. He goes, you were on your way out? He goes, yeah, Bree's still here, and I don't know, I want to give her some space. He goes, so you and her? And Brady's like, another casualty of this whole thing. And then his phone rings, and he looks at it, and he goes, what is it now? And he goes, it's Lark. The FBI is at the glamping site. And Jack's like, uh-oh. He puts the coffee down, and they both dart out of there fast. That's not going to be good, because
Nope.
all that stuff is about the glamping site, and that.
Hmm.
Oh. So we're
Not
back.
gonna go. Well.
Not gonna go well. So we're back at the clinic, and Muriel's sitting on Cameron's desk, talking to Cameron. And Cameron looks up at her, and he's like, "Hey, so about earlier." He goes, I actually thought you were gonna ask Doc for his permission." And she looks at him like, "What? In the staff meeting? Can you imagine?" And they both start laughing. I mean, honestly, it's if two of them want to date and Doc's, I mean, like Mel cares. Like, I guess it would have been inappropriate to be in a staff meeting, but I mean, it's a very loosey goosey kind of business, so it wouldn't have been out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know. They get a good laugh out of it. Mira's like, yeah, but you know what? We're going to have to address that at some point.
Oh, hell yes.
He's like, you mean talk to Doc about us? He goes, I don't see any other way around it. So look, I think if we just tell him how we really feel about each other, then he will see that this is completely different than the whole Mel situation. And Cameron's like, okay, yeah, I'll speak to him today. No, you need to let me do it, she says. We are old friends, and as you know, I'm very hard to resist. She just chuckles, and he laughs, and he's like, yeah, I get it. I know that. So,
as I said, one of my favorite people.
I know. She is great.
Oh, yes. I want to be that sassy.
Right? She's awesome. So we're at the glamping site, and there is law people and police and FBI everywhere. They've got hazmat suits on. They're checking everything. It's all taped off. They've kicked out all the people that are staying in the probably in the thing, because all the people, the evacuees were staying in the campers.
Exactly.
But now we know that they were hiding drugs in the campers. That is not going to be good.
Nope.
So Jack and Brady show up, and he says to one of the people in charge, he's like, excuse me, I'm Jack Sheridan. This is my property. And the guy's like, Mr. Sheridan, this site and all assets are now property of the FBI. This woman comes up, and she gives him a piece of paper in connection with the Montgomery investigation. And he's looking at this paper. He goes, well, can you tell me for how long? And she's like, in cases like this, it could be 6 months or 6 years. And Jack stands there while Brady goes ahead. And she's like, these tenants need to be out by end of day. And he's like, ma'am, these are not tenants. These are evacuees from the fire. They've got no place to go. She's like, sorry, it's out of my hands. And he's just standing there dumbfounded. Now Nick shows up, and he goes right up to Jack, and he goes, Jack, I got here as quick as I could. He goes, they had me and Joellen in for questioning for like hours.
Yeah.
And he's like, how's Mike? And he's like, well, we don't know yet. Bree's going to keep me posted. I wouldn't have let my sister anywhere near you if I had any idea of what she was up to. I feel like such an idiot. I just hope you can forgive me. I mean, it's not Nick's fault. She hid everything from him his whole life.
Exactly.
I mean, she claimed to have a successful business, so he's just getting dividends from it, I guess.
Right.
But, he didn't ask anything either. So
right.
Maybe he should have asked more questions. I don't know.
Well, Nick is not this. He's not the smartest tool in the shed. You remember?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, Jack feels bad. He goes, Nick, it's not your fault. He goes, and Nick's like, if there's anything I can do, please. I mean, and Jack's like, I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with all these families. I mean, I guess if, the B&B's empty. And Nick's like, yeah. He goes, are any rooms at the B&B still habitable? And he goes, oh, well, the east side of the building ducked the worst of the fire. He goes, mostly smoke damage from busted windows. He goes, all right, great. Well, Brady and I will start packing everybody up. He goes, why don't you get Bert and those guys over to help? And so they're going to at least get some people housed, because what else can they do?
Mm.
So they have
Right.
signs on all the airstreams that they're condemned, that no one's allowed in them. And Lark is there, and Brady's helping her move her stuff out. And she's like, so what the hell happened last night? And I don't think he wants to tell her. He goes, well, it turns out Jack's... Oh, he does. He goes, well, it turns out Jack's business partner wasn't who he thought she was. And Lark's like, oh. He goes, I don't trust Lark.
Mm.
But he had no idea when he said you could stay here. And Lark kind of sighs, and she's like, did you? And he's like, yeah, I did. It's like, oh. He goes, that was, I was trying to do something about it. And she laughs. She's like, of course you were. And then Hazel shows up. She's like, Brady. And he's like, yeah. She goes, will you ride the kitty cars with me tonight? She's like, honey, I think Brady's probably got other plans. He goes, actually, Brady does not. He goes, tell you what, how about I ride the kitty cars with you if you promise to go on the merry-go-round with me? And she's like, pinky promise. So they pinky promise. He's like, it's a date. She's like, unless it's not. And he goes, yeah, no, it's a date. He goes, come on, you got more stuff in there. Let's clear it all out. So he's going to continue to help her get moved out because they only have till the end of the day because FBI
Yep.
is not giving them a lot of time. So we're back at the hospital, and Mike is laying there, and Bree's just staring out the window, and he's moving around, making some noises. Thank God he's waking up. And he groans, and she's like, hi. And she touches his face, and she's like, hey, Mike. And she's looking at him. She's like, how are you feeling? And he's like I just got shot. He goes, happy to see your face. And she's like, you saved Brady's life. And he's like, Bree, I've been wanting to tell you about all of this. And all the staff comes in because once he wakes up, all the machines are going crazy, and so the doctor's got to come in and check him. She's like, oh. And there was a knock at the door, and it's the FBI agent that was talking to Jack. And she's like, glad to see you're awake, detective. He's like, once you get the all clear, I was hoping that you could catch me up on what went down out there. And Bree, grabs her bag, and she's like, I'm going to get out of your way, okay? She goes, I'll be outside. And he's like, sure, have a seat. So he's going to tell her everything, which thank goodness, because him waking up is the only thing that's keeping Brady out of trouble. Because,
Amen,
like they said, it was Brady's word against Melissa's, and without him to tell what really happened, because they were keeping it on the down low. They didn't make it an official confidential informant thing until they called in the cavalry. Jack is sitting on a picnic table looking out over the cliff near the glamping site, and he's just looking so distraught and sad and sort of like crushed.
Well, I would be. I mean, the man's been through so much with his house burning down.
Everything.
You know, he couldn't rebuild on the property.
Then he gets this great idea for a business, and now this is happening, and they lost his baby.
Baby, exactly. Oh. So he is,
he's distraught.
He's not in a good place. Yeah.
So Mel comes up to him, and she's like, is there room for one more? He's like, yeah. She's like, I came as soon as I could. And she sits next to him. He's like, yeah. He's like, this is where we were going to raise a family. Where our kids were going to grow up. Where we were going to teach them how to swim. And he points to the lake. This is where I was going to build us a home. And she looks at him, and she's like, hey, we'll get the land back eventually. He goes, yeah, eventually. Babe, this thing breaks the wrong way. We're going to lose everything. And she takes a deep breath, and she's like, well, not everything. As long as we're together, we are home. And he smiles, and he's like, aw. Gives her a kiss. And then his phone rings, and he looks at it. It's a text message from Bree. And he goes, it's Bree. And he smiles. He goes, Mike's awake. He's going to be okay. He's like, oh, thank God. He goes, silver lining. She's like, yeah.
Gotta see the glass half full.
Right? And she's like, all right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the carnival tonight, and we're going to have some fun. He goes, oh, I don't know about fun, but a hot dog sounds pretty good right about now. And she's like, that's the spirit. He goes, you want a hot dog? He's like, yes, I do. So they're going to try to have some fun. So we're back at the clinic, and Doc is in one of his exam rooms, and he's just kind of walking around, sort of taking a lay of the land. And Muriel walks in, and she's looking at him as he turns around, and he's like, working hard or hardly working? And he just chuckles, and he's like, oh, I'm just taking a moment for myself. She's like, you okay? He goes, yeah, I am. He's like, I'm just wondering where all the time went. Took me 30 years to build this place. He looks around, he goes, feels like they went by in an instant. So many memories. And many more to come, she says. You still have all those tele-appointments to look forward to, remember? He goes, yeah. Oh, I do, indeed. He's like, She's like, I don't want to interrupt your thoughts, but I do have a request. He's like, oh, if you give a girl a desk. Because you know, they're referring to the book. I know you know the book because you read to all the kids.
Oh, yes.
If you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a pig a pancake, they just keep asking for more and more and more and more. And so it's a great series of books.
I know. The fact that Doc actually knows that book is surprising.
Well, and I know. I was thinking that, too, because he doesn't have grandchildren. But
no, he doesn't.
But he has patients that are children, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah. But it does seem odd that he would know that reference, which is so cute.
Yeah.
But, yeah, great book series. Excellent.
Yeah.
And so he chuckles, and he's like, okay, lay it on me. And she's like, Cameron and I have feelings for each other. And he looks at her like, oh. And he kind of rolls his eyes and like, oh, God, people can't keep your hands off each other. What the heck? He goes, but he has made it very clear that the clinic is his top priority. And he does not want to disappoint you. But this is not about Cameron. And he looks at her. He goes, this is about me. And she kind of shakes her head a little, and she goes, I haven't been as lucky in love as some. And he kind of gets closer on his desk and, like, leans on it. And he's like, Muriel? She goes, and I know that Cameron is still working to earn your trust. But you can trust me. This is more than just a flirtation. And he's like, Muriel. He goes, I want to make something very clear. And he gets very stern. He goes, I don't care what you or Cameron do in your private lives. He goes, but we are here for our patients only. And she shakes her head yes. Do you suppose that both of you could conduct yourselves in a professional manner while you're here at work? And she's like, yes, I do. He goes, okay, I respect you too much to tell you what to do in this department. And she kind of looks at him with tears in her eyes. He goes, look, just watch out for yourself, please. He's like, okay. She shakes her head yes. And the phone rings. She's like, thanks, Doc. And he's like, I got to take this. And she leaves with tears in her eyes. And he answers, is this Dr. Mullins? Is this in regard to the clinical trials? Oh, so he might get in a clinical trial. Nice. Now we're back at the bar. And Preacher is at the jukebox. And he puts on a romantic song. And Hannah's there. And she's like, you sure you're cool to close up solo? And Preacher's like, yeah. Everyone's headed to the carnival soon. Anyways, I just got to close the register, and then I'll be on my way. He goes, listen, I don't want to dampen your style, she says, but listening to sad songs in an empty bar isn't gonna bring her back any sooner. And he kind of chuckles at her.
Ah, yes.
She's like, but really, whatever happens with Kaya, I want you to know that I'm proud of you. And he looks at her like, proud? She's like, you were ready to swear off dating altogether. Now look at you. He goes, oh, yeah, look at me. She's been gone a few hours, and I'm one song away from a slow dancing with a broomstick. They both laugh. And she's like, if love was easy, they wouldn't write songs about it.
Amen, sister.
Right? And she's like, I'll see you at the carnival. And off she goes. He goes, want to hit the lights on your way out? As the romantic song continues. Now, as she's leaving, they pan on the door, and you see Kaya walk in. In the background, it's Kaya, but Preacher thinks it's probably just Hannah coming back. He goes, okay, I'll change the song. And then Kaya says, I kind of like it, actually. And he turns around like shocked that she's even there. He's, I told you I hate goodbyes. And he's like, you came back? She's like, well, don't let it go to your head. He goes, I am only here for work. And he's like, well, I don't understand. What about your promotion? She's like, I was on my way to the airport, and I got worried about another brigade coming in. And I thought to myself, why am I going all the way to Alaska? There's plenty of stuff on fire here. And he's like, you left your crew? She's like, not exactly. It took a few calls, but I managed to swap with a friend who's going to lead up the post-fire cleanup. Now, he's still at the bar, and she's still maybe 5 feet from the door. So they're like having this conversation like 15, 20 feet away from each other in the bar. She's like, I owe a really nice bottle of Japanese whiskey, but I figure you could help me out with that. He goes, oh, I know just the bottle. I'll ship it out today. And as he's walking toward her, he goes, so how did Jade take the news? And Kaya sighs. She goes, oh. As he starts walking toward her, Kaya says, he went ballistic, which I can imagine because he thinks she can't do anything and that the only way she can be a good firefighter is under him. Yeah. So, I mean, he just doesn't give her the credit that she deserves.
Well, he just feels women need to have their place is basically what it is.
Yeah. So. She's like, turning him down is hardly a career breaker. She goes, and something tells me that I made the right decision as she walks closer to him. Now they're about 5 feet apart. She's like, so, and as they walk closer and closer, so how long is this assignment? She's like, however long it takes, as they interlock their fingers. Maybe months. Why? You gonna get sick of me? As the romantic song continues in the background. And he picks her up because she's like 5'2", and he's like 6'3". So in order for them to be face to face, he has to bend down and literally pick her up. So he's like holding her in the air, which is really cute. And they kiss. I guess they're dancing to the song, but he's sort of holding her because that's the only way they can dance like that. She's like suspended in the air. So we're at the carnival. Daytime still. I'm sure it's going to go on into the evening.
It usually does.
People are playing games. We got Denny shooting the water balloons, and some of the ladies are on some of the rides, and Preacher is playing games with Kaya, winning some prizes. Oh, the sewing circle ladies are getting out of something. They can't even walk straight because they're all spinning around. So Mel and Jack show up, and they're just kind of walking their way through. She's like, I have won a lot of prizes at the balloon pop in my day. She goes, oh, have you? And she's like, yeah. She goes, my dad was an amazing darts player, so we had a dartboard in the garage. He goes, oh, I didn't know you played darts. He goes, well, you don't know everything about me, Mr. Sheridan. Apparently, I don't know everything about a lot of women in my life. Goodness. She goes, what does that mean? He goes, Bree told me that she hasn't left Mike's side since this morning. She goes, oh, right. He goes, I mean, that's cute and all. Oh, that's right, because he didn't know that the two of them were...
Yep.
I mean, Mel suspected because, she spends a lot more time with Bree than...
Jack did.
Yeah. And Jack's like, I mean, that's cute and all, but I didn't even know that was a thing. And he looks at Mel and he's like, did you? And she's like, oh, well, I thought it might become one. He's like, really? She goes, yeah. He's like, well, I would love to get all the goss, but I got my shift at the beer garden. So he'll have to find out the details later. Gives her a kiss goodbye. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to go meet Ava. He goes, all right, see you in an hour. So they part ways. So Lizzie and Hope are walking through because they have to do their final checks. And Lizzie's like, can you believe we really pulled this off? And Hope's like, you pulled it off. You should be proud, really. And she goes, thanks, Hope. And she's like, I got you something. She hands Hope this bag, and she's like, oh? And she opens it up, and it's a mug, and it says, you'll be missed. She goes, I wanted to get one that said world's best boss, but they were out. So it says, you'll be missed. She goes, well, it's the thought that counts. She goes, I just wanted to thank you for believing in me, because I think this is the first time anybody believed in her.
Yeah.
I mean, her mom always just thought she was just go to school, do what we tell you to do, don't have a mind of your own, marry this person, date this person. Like they didn't even care that she had anything that she wanted to do herself. And
no aspiration.
Well, and I don't even think they gave her a chance to have any aspirations. So, or ask her if she had any. So she
Yeah.
didn't even know about that until she started doing stuff with Hope and kind of figured out who she was and what she wanted. And Lizzie's like, I never thought much about the future or what I wanted to do with my life. She goes, I always worried that people back home didn't take me seriously. She goes, but you did. She goes, and that means the world to me. She goes, sweetheart, it was you who decided to step onto the path you were meant to be on. And they're both kind of getting teary. It's very sweet. She goes, you took the leap of faith. I just gave you a little push. Then they give a big hug. It's good they've had each other. She goes, now go find your boyfriend and have some fun. She goes, you're officially off the clock. And she's like, everything okay with you and Denny? Because Lizzie sort of hesitates. And Lizzie's like, yeah, everything's fine. Like, she wanted to tell her something, but she held back.
And Hope knows something's
up. Oh, Hope always knows something's up. Hope is like, okay, I'm going to
Hope can smell a problem in somebody's face like a mile away.
So I'm sure Hope is like, we're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to come back to that later. So now we see Ava and Mel. They found some snacks. She goes, why does everything taste so much better in the deep fryer?
Amen.
She goes, not going to stop me from going around too. And they're like, me neither. She goes, so Mel asks, how was your appointment with Dr. Kane? He goes, well, I brought my notes. She goes, yeah, thank you. And she goes, and we talked a lot. She goes, and I've decided I'm going to have the hysterectomy. She goes, but not before I freeze some eggs. And Mel's like, oh, that's great. She goes, I want to keep my options open, you know, just in case. Mel's like, yeah. She goes, I know I complain about this place a lot, but days like this make me realize how special it is. She goes, I'm actually going to miss Virgin River. And Mel's like, hey, did you find someone who wants to rebuild the farm? She goes, no, but I found someone who... She's like, hey, did you find someone who will want to rebuild the farm? She goes, no, but I found someone who wants to turn it into a golf course. And Mel kind of looks sad about that. She goes, and my sisters are ready to sell. Mel's like, She goes, it's just a shame. It was a perfect place to grow up. Mel's like, yeah. She goes, not that you can see that now when all that's left is an old tree swing. And Mel looks at her like, wait, the tree swing survived the fire? And Ava's like, well, sort of. I mean, it's burnt, but it's hanging. She goes, can you believe that? And Mel's like, no. And they both kind of laugh at that. And Mel just gets this look in her eye like,
Yep. That's a sign.
Yep. She's like, So now we go over to the, I guess I don't know what you call this. The lumberjack thing where you have to use the sledgehammer to hit the thing to make the bell ring. And Jack is whacking the heck out of this thing, ringing the bell again and again. Kids are cheering, and he's like, oh, you got to do better than that. They're cheering for him, and he does it again, and he rings the bell, and everybody's woohoo. And Mel's there, and she goes, hey, he goes, you want to go? And he goes to hand her the thing, and she's like, oh, no, and follow that up? No, I don't think so. So she points to a little kid and who's yelling, me, me, me. She goes, I think she would like a turn. And so he hands it to this little girl. It's so cute.
And it's bigger than she is and heavier
Oh, my gosh. He goes, there you go, kiddo. You knock him dead. Need a hand there, Mom? Goodness. And Mel's like, you think I can steal you away from your fan club? He goes, sure. He goes, yeah. He goes, want to hit the fun house? He goes, sure. After... Can we go on the Ferris wheel? He's like, oh, yeah, for sure. Mike is feeling better. He's sitting up. He's drinking something. And Bree's sitting on the bed with him. She sits at the bottom of the bed, and he's, of course, at the top of the bed. And they start laughing, and she's like, so you're telling me you just happened to be in Sacramento? And he's like, no, I hired a guy that killed someone so that I could testify at his trial on the same day that you were there. And she's like, uh-huh. And he goes, yeah, genius, right? She's like, wow, masterful. So they're just sitting there enjoying some time. And she's like, so is this how you pictured our first date? Chocolate shakes at Grace Valley Hospital. And he's like, whoa, is this our first date? She's like, I mean, technically, if this counts, I did pay. So that means I got to go all out for the second date. He goes, oh, yeah, you do. He's like, there's something that I need you to know. He's like, Brady's the real hero. It was his idea to go undercover to help take Melissa down. He risked his life, and he did it all for you. Like, what a good guy to, like, tell her. He didn't have to tell her that.
He didn't.
He didn't need to. I mean, if he's trying to get her himself, like, saying anything good about Brady would not help that, but that's just Mike. He's a good guy. He's an honest guy.
Yeah.
Like, always everything on the table, unless, of course, he can't because it's police business. But I think that if he wants to be with her, he wants her to not have any ties to Brady. And, like, if he puts everything on the table, nothing can come back and bite him in the ass later.
Yep.
Because Brady's made that mistake too many times, and he's like, oh, I'm not making that mistake. So that's why he tells her these things. And he's like, so if that changes anything, like, it might make her, oh, Brady, and go back to him. But I think that ship has sailed for her.
Yeah, she's been there, done that.
I mean, I think there were just too many things that happened that she couldn't live with. And that's just, she can't go back.
And while Brady is promising, because, they say some women like bad boys, I don't get that. But,
oh, yeah. Yeah, they do.
She may at this present time feel that that's just not something she wants in her life.
I think she had her bad boy phase, and I think it's over. Like, she had a good time with the bad boy, but maybe that's not what she really wants. I think, honestly, with everything that's happened with her over the last year, I don't know that she even knows what she wants. But the good thing is, she's young, she's not married, she's free to date whoever she wants. She's testing all the waters. So she tried out some bad boy Brady, and maybe she's going to test out good boy Mike and see how this goes. I mean, she's free to do whatever, so I guess we're going to see how it goes. But she said, he wonders if this is going to change things, and she's like, it doesn't. So, I mean, deep down he knows, okay, I got a chance. She goes, I want to see where this goes. And he's like, yeah? Like, almost like shocked. And she's like, very firm. Yeah, which is cool. So now it's nighttime at the fair. We got all the rides going, and people are playing games. Everybody's having a good time. Joellen is a ticket taker, and Cameron comes up, and he's going to buy some tickets. He goes, hi. And she's like, hi. He goes, I need one ticket to the Ferris wheel, please. She goes, one. And Muriel walks up. She goes, actually, Joellen. She goes, can we get 2 tickets, please, for the Tunnel of Love? And Joellen's like, have either of you been to a carnival before? He goes, you can use your ticket for whatever ride you want. So she gives him 2 tickets, and they stand there right in front of the booth. He's like, did you talk to Doc? And she's like, yes, and he's okay with it. And he's like, I mean, there are some rules, but we can ride any ride we want. And they're looking at each other, and he's smiling, and she's smiling. And then he leans down to kiss her, and Joellen's like right there. Like,
yeah, well, somebody's going to find out eventually, so.
And Joellen, when they separate the kiss, Joellen's eyes couldn't be bigger. She's looking at him, looking at her. He's like, shall we? And Muriel's like, yeah. And they hold hands as they walk away, and Joellen picks up her phone, and she's on the phone like they hadn't even walked away. And she's already calling somebody.
The phone tree has now been activated.
Oh, my God. It's so funny, Joellen. So Brady's riding rides with Hazel, and people are playing games, and the Tunnel of Love, and Doc is sitting there on a bench just kind of chilling. And Charmaine walks up. Now, we haven't seen her in a while. And she's like, hey, Doc. And he's like, Charmaine, here, sit. And she's like, oh, hi. She goes, no, please. If I sit down, I'm never going to be able to get back up again. And they both laugh.
Oh, yeah. She's still pregnant, right? Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay. So this, and I think I remember reading that either this is the longest or the second longest pregnancy in TV history, because this show has taken where we assume that Mel has been there. She came in late January, early February. That was what we determined from text messages and timelines and everything. And Labor Day, which is in the first weekend in September, So she's been there now 7.5 months. Not long ago, it was about 5 months. Remember when Jack found out that the babies were not his?
Right.
And he called the ambulance and said, my friend is about 5 months pregnant. And she had gotten pregnant a little before then. So timeline-wise, we're right at 7-ish months. And it's been 5 seasons. We're now getting to the end of season 5. So it's 5 years for us as an audience watching the show. Yeah. But it's 7.5 months of the lives of these people, which is crazy. And she got pregnant in like the 3rd episode. She said so. She was already pregnant before the 1st episode. Nobody knew it though. So she's literally been pregnant the entire 5 years. And it's just mind-boggling.
Nauseous.
But now, I mean, only this season is she showing to the point that she's big. I mean, she was showing last season, but now she's getting much, 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 much closer. So, and she's got twins, so she's going to be bigger than usual, right? So Doc is like, oh, you look great. You're glowing. She goes, thanks. She goes, I just wanted to tell you that you were right. And he's like, looking at her like, what? He goes, standing on my own 2 feet. She's like, it's not easy, especially when they're so swollen. She goes, but I'm doing it. And it feels really good. So thank you. He goes, well, I never doubted for a second. She goes, oh. She goes, well, I'm going to go find some food. You have a great night, okay? And off she goes. It's like, thank goodness. She's finally in a good place and leaving Mel and Jack alone. So he sits back down again, just enjoying the crowd. And there's hope. She's got some popcorn and she's like offering it to him. He goes, oh, no, I'm good. She goes, but you love kettle corn. He goes, I know. I'm just not hungry, I suppose. She goes, all right, Vernon, what's up? Skipping a pretzel is one thing, but passing on kettle corn? Mm-mm. No, it's a serious cry for help.
I know.
Something's up. Spill the beans. Right? He's like, so you remember that clinical trial I was telling you about? She's like, the one that would help me retain my vision? She's like, sure. He goes, well, someone dropped out, and I took the spot. And she's like, even though there's a risk? He's like, yeah, if I don't do the trial, I'll go blind eventually anyway, so why not give it a chance? He's like, and I know I should have talked to you first, but she's like, I know I don't say this kind of thing often enough, but your life is my life. Your heart is my heart. Your crappy old eyes are my crappy old eyes. And they both laugh. He goes, for 30 years, you've stood by my side. No matter what happens, I will always stand by yours. When is the trial? He's like, just after New Year's. He goes, 4 months. Okay, so now we know we're 4 months away. So we're at the very beginning of September. So yeah, we're right at the beginning of September. It's nice when they throw a timeline in there, then we can kind of figure out where we're at. What do you want to do with yourself until then? And he's like, he looks up to think for a second, and he gets real close to her, and he pushes her hair back. He goes, touches her face. He goes, oh, just a whole lot of this. And he gives her a kiss. They're cute.
They're adorable.
They are. You don't usually see 70-year-old people kissing. It's very rare. Yep. So now we see Lizzie. Now Lizzie looks a little stressed. She's not looking too happy. She's looking a little nervous. She's just kind of standing there by herself. And Denny walks up and he goes, they only had 2 left and all they had was raspberry. He's like, oh, it's my favorite. He's like, you're my favorite. He goes, so, we both had some stuff we have to talk about. She goes, yeah, but you go first. He goes, okay. And they sit down on a bench. He goes, well, I've been thinking a lot about something Grandma Rose said last night. And she goes, what is it? He goes, she thinks I'm making a mistake staying in Virgin River. She said I should travel and get back on track for medical school. She goes, well, what do you think? He goes, I don't know. I mean, at first I thought she was wrong. But after thinking about it, I'm not so sure. I didn't think I had a future. But with you, I'm starting to see one. And I know that you're so happy here. But do you think there's a chance that you might want to come with me? She's like, Denny, I think I'm pregnant.
Oh, good Lord.
And he doesn't say a word. Like, he's just blank stare.
Somebody just threw cold water in his face. Poor child.
Oh my goodness. So now we're at the Ferris wheel, and Mel and Jack are riding it together. And Mel was like, "You are pretty cute with those kids back there." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Looked like they were having a blast." He goes, "Well, at least I could have given them that because of everything that they've been through." He goes, "You know, I was thinking about our hike at Angel's Peak and how sometimes you just need a change of perspective." Now they get stuck at the top, so they have a nice view of Virgin River. And he's like, "Uh-huh." And she's like, "And you just need a different point of view, which is why I brought you up here." And she's trying to look around, trying to see different things. She goes, "But now that we're up here, I am completely turned around and it's dark and she can't see where she's looking." And she goes, "You don't know where it is." She's like, "I don't know." And then the fireworks go off. So they have a great view of the fireworks. So awesome. He goes, "Well, at least we got a front row seat for this." And he puts his arms around her. They're kind of holding each other while they watch the fireworks. And she's like, "Hey, on the way home, can we take a detour?" And he's like, "Sure, where are we going?" She's like, "You'll see," as they look at the fireworks. Now, when they were filming this, there's the behind the scenes where the two of them are on the Ferris wheel. And I guess, I don't know if she's afraid of heights or he's just being naughty, but he kept rocking the heck out of it. And oh my God, she was screaming because she was scared to death that it was going to like break or fall or flip or something because he was rocking it so much. And she was like cussing at him and everything. It's hilarious. The two of them just being silly, but she's like screaming and she's like, "Martin, stop it, stop it, stop it." Because it was rocking so much. I mean, they're just supposed to be like leisurely riding the Ferris wheel and he's being a menace. So it was pretty funny.
I would be terrified too.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that she's afraid of heights or he was just messing around. But it was pretty funny.
Good.
Great fireworks show. I'm surprised they're doing fireworks, honestly, because when you have an area that's prone to forest fires, you generally don't do fireworks. So,
especially in California.
Yeah, especially up there where they just had the big fire. So I think that's a faux pas on their part, but whatever. So Mel and Jack are walking arm in arm, walking through the place, and Mel sees Kaya and Preacher. And she's like, "Kaya?" Now remember, they've never met in person. They only met over Zoom.
Yeah.
When she delivered the baby, helped her deliver the baby. And Kaya's like, "Mel?" And Mel's like, "Oh my God, hi." And she goes, and Preacher's like, "Wait, you two know each other?" And they're like, "Yeah, we delivered a baby together." And Kaya's like, "Well, I mean, sort of." He goes, "Well, you were amazing. She's a total natural," as she's pointing to Kaya. And Kaya looks at Jack and she goes, "Oh, you must be Jack." "Uh-huh." And he goes, "Nice to meet you." He goes, "Likewise." He goes, "Hey, listen, we're about to hit the tunnel of love." And Mel's like, "Oh, double date. Oh, we would love to, but we're on our way out. Mel has a surprise for me." "Yeah, but we should get together soon. And I want to hear more about this," as she points to Preacher and Kaya. She's like, "Have fun, you two." And they're all like laughing like a little uncomfortably. And then Kaya gets a phone call and she goes, "Sorry, I got to take this. It's my new boss." He goes, "No worries." So she takes it. She goes, "This is Bryant." They're all waiting around for her to finish her phone call. And she's like, "Yeah, sure. I'll see you first thing. See you soon." And Preacher's like, "Everything okay?" And she's like, yeah, that's a first." She goes, "The brigade was doing cleanup near a surface road by Aldergrove and they found a body." And Preacher's like, "From the fire? I thought there were no casualties." She goes, "There weren't. Looks like it's been up there a while. Like someone buried it there." And the look on Preacher's face.
I forgot about him and the dead guy.
Right. Well, there were two dead guys because remember, they found that body already. Because remember they found a body before? It was the guy that broke into Mel's to the clinic and scared Mel, and then they buried that guy. But they found him, and Preacher wanted to know who the dead body was, and then he realized it wasn't the guy he buried. So
Yep.
Preacher, they do a flashback, and it shows because we never saw what happened. We just know
Right.
Preacher said, I took care of it, but we don't know what that meant. So now we're looking at a flashback where Preacher is burying someone, and he looks kind of like he's deep in thought. And
Oh, yeah.
Kaya goes over to him, and she's like, wow, so much for a sleepy small town, huh? And he just kind of like raises his eyebrows like, oh, yeah, sure. So now we see Charmaine, and she's breathing heavy, waddling to her car, because I guess she's had enough for one night. And just as she gets to her car, she's getting her keys out, and we see a certain somebody who walks with a cane. Oh. Now, isn't a certain somebody who walks with a cane supposed to have blown up in a boat?
Exactly. He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah. And this certain somebody says, hello, Charmaine. And she's like, Calvin. Like, she gets scared. And he smiles. I love Calvin. I know he's a bad guy, but I just love his character. He's got so much personality. I just love him. I know he's bad, but I love the actor. The actor that plays him is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way you react to him is the way I would react to Charmaine.
Yeah,
it's a guttural sensation.
Yeah,
you know, it's a love-hate situation.
Yeah, I like Calvin. I mean, I don't like anything that he's done, but I like his character. He's got there's so much like texture to his character. And this right here is just going to add a whole nother layer we never saw coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here we go. And he's like, hello, Charmaine. And she's like, I thought you were dead. And he's like, yeah. And so did the person who tried to kill me. And she's looking very confused. He goes, I don't have to hide from her anymore. And he gets a little closer, and she sort of backs up a little. He goes, what do you want? And he's like, you know what I want. I want to be a father to my boys.
Oh,
what?
Boy. Nobody's that bullshit coming. Oh, sorry.
No, say it like it is. That's crazy. So,
nobody.
Yeah, that is how in the heck, and we will find out because Charmaine does explain at a later point, how the heck Calvin is the father of those twins. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get when she was talking to Jack, and she's like, their father is not a good person. I wanted a good person to be their father, and that's why I picked you, kind of a thing. Now you see why. Because it's Calvin, who's like the worst. But I mean, like, did they even know each other? Clearly they knew each other at least one night. Who knows if they knew each other before or after that, but oh my gosh. Okay, so remember Mel wanted to make a detour on the way home, and her and Jack are driving, and Jack's like, you going to tell me what we're doing at Lily's farm? And they stop. Everything's kind of burnt. It's kind of sad. There's a lot of burnt trees and fences and everything, and they get out of the car. They leave the lights on so they can see, and they each have a flashlight. He's like, I still don't get it. And she points, and she looks. She goes, I always loved this tree swing. And it's the tree swing. Now, it's still, I mean, it's burnt, yeah, but the tree swing is actually there. Not much left of the tree. The tree itself is practically gone.
Yeah.
She goes, Ava said it was still standing. And they're looking at it with the flashlights, and he's like, no way. And Mel touches the swing, and he's holding on to the swing, and he's like, that's a miracle. She's like, yeah. She's like, do you remember the first time we came here? He goes, yeah, of course. And they flash back to the first time, which was like her first day. And they go back to the conversation. And Mel told Jack at that time, she goes, you know, my sister and I used to have one of these when we were kids. And she had walked over to the swing. So you can see it in its full glory, the big tree with the swing. And he's like, oh, yeah? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, it was my dream when I was younger to be a vet, have a big farmhouse and fill it with kids. And then we go back to the present time. And she's standing there just like she was standing there with the tree swing before with her hand on it. And she looks at Jack with like a big smile on her face. And she's like, do you remember what you said? And he's like, yeah, it was something like, dreams are funny things. They come true when you least expect it. She shakes her head. She's like, uh-huh. She goes, what if that time is now? They have a really good song in the background. He's like, I don't understand. She goes, if your dream is to build us a home, I can't think of a better place to do it than right here. Ava's going to sell the farm and somebody's going to buy it. What if it was us? And he's like, I mean, can we do that? She's like, yeah. She goes, yeah, we could build our home right here on this plot of land. Fill it with kids, our kids, however they come, whenever they come. And he turns around and he's kind of looking at the land, like taking a deep breath, like really thinking about this. And she's like, what do you think? And he's like, I think it's perfect. She's like, yeah? He's like, yeah. And he gives her a kiss.
Farm saved.
Yep. Gives us a kiss. And he's like, you know what else? It'd be a perfect place to get married. And she's like, oh, more kissy-kissy with the lights of the car in the background and the swing and then the moon. Oh, that's a great picture. The one with the swing in the background and everything.
Yeah.
And now we're going to fast forward just a little bit because that was Labor Day. And we hear jingle bells in the background. So I think we've jumped a bit. So now we are decorating for Christmas. So we've skipped the month of October completely. And
November.
Probably most of November.
Yeah, because they didn't say there's no Thanksgiving involved here.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're definitely decorating for Christmas. So we've got Mel and Jack, and they've got all these decorations out in the front. They've put lights on the cabin, and they're laughing. They're like, okay, well, tell them that Auntie Mel can't wait to see them too. She must be on the phone with her sister Joey. And he goes, oh, hey, Joey, hope you guys are looking forward to your first Virgin River Christmas. She goes, oh, so wait, I don't understand. Could you not find the old stockings? Because I guess Mel had asked Joey to look through their mom's old stuff to look for some stockings because now she feels like she has a home and she wants to like bring some of maybe things from her childhood. So she asked Joey to look through the mom's old stuff and Joey's like, oh no, I found them, but she takes a deep breath and she's like, don't freak out. She goes, Joey, come on. You know, when you say that, the first thing I'm going to do is freak out. Like, why do people say that? Don't worry. Well, first thing you do is worry. Like, come on. It's so crazy.
I don't know. It's a human's way of trying to comfort somebody when they know.
It's like a preparation, but don't prep me. Just say it. So Joey's like, just listen to me, okay? She's like, I was digging through the old Christmas boxes, and I found some other stuff mixed in with Mom's decorations. And Mel's like, well, what kind of stuff? Now, they're just continuing to put up decorations and make the cabin look very festive and, you know, going about their business. And Joey's like, you're not going to believe this, but I found this whole stack of letters. And it shows Joey with all these letters laid out on the bed. Like probably 10 of them. Some of them say my dearest. So someone wrote letters. There's pressed flowers in some of them. And she's like, and postcards addressed to Mom from Virgin River. And Mel's like, what? She goes, wait, Mom knew someone in Virgin River? And she turns around to look toward Jack. And Jack turns around like, huh? And Joey's like, apparently quite well. Because I've been reading all this morning and she's like, they're love letters. And Mel's like, what? The look on her face is like, what? She goes, Mom was having an affair with someone in Virgin River. And I think this guy might be your father. And Mel's like, what? Like, the look on her face is crazy. Like, disbelief. Like, everything I thought I knew, I don't know.
Exactly.
And
the person you thought was my father wasn't my father.
And my mother's lied to me my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. That's how it ends.
Ooh la la.
Right? Like, oh, that's that. I mean, she's, I don't know. We guess her character's in her mid-30s ish. It's hard to say. We don't know. But she's gone all these years. I mean, her mom died when she was 11. So that's not her father? Then who was her father? Some guy in Virgin River? Like, how is it? I mean, she thought that she randomly picked this job in Virgin River out of nowhere. But you know her with fate and coincidence and serendipity. Who knows? Who knows? We'll just have to see, won't we?
Yes, we will.
It will all be explained. And finally, I think we're done with all the sad things and the hard things. There's the drug stuff is all gone. The stakeouts and the undercover. Melissa's. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have residual from that. You know, Jack still doesn't have his land. He's still got to figure out what to do with all that. But you know, maybe they have some better options. So things are starting to look up. I think things are going to be better now that we're getting into the Christmas season. Things are going to be happier. So that's a good thing.
I hope so.
Oh, my.
Anyway.
Well, that was fun. That was a fun episode.
It was. Considering all the drama we had before.
Oh, so much drama. Goodness. Well, I mean, it is a drama, so they got to at least bring it once in a while.
I guess so.
Goodness. Well, I'm glad that we finally we can breathe. Things are a little better. People seem to be doing better. So we'll see. We still got to figure out if Lizzie's pregnant. And Doc's now going to start a clinical trial. And is Mel's dad not her dad? Ooh, we're gonna have to see. So stay tuned for another episode to find out what happens as we rewatch. All right. Well, thank you again, Gigi. This was fun.
Welcome.
This was a fun episode. Oh, and then the whole thing. Sorry, I almost forgot. Calvin's the daddy? Like, what?
Who's the daddy?
Who's the daddy? Who's the baby daddy? Baby's daddy? Yeah, we got. That's crazy. That's crazy. We're gonna have to go through that. We're gonna have to deal with that. We're gonna have to figure out how that happened. Wow.
I'm thinking alcohol was involved there.
Oh, absolutely. There's something that she says that's like the perfect explanation later on, and it'll make sense. It will make 100% sense when you hear it. So that'll be coming in the next 2 episodes. We'll get all that will become clear.
All right, folks.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gigi, and Yep.
Au revoir.
We'll be back next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and stay tuned for another episode. Take care. Bye-bye.